To be in English, right?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. We are now live with Mama Africa Inov. My name is Gaëlle Matondo. I am the founder of Yons, and I'm going to be tonight the moderator of the conversation with two amazing entrepreneurs, Irene and Mariam. Uh, this conversation is also the opportunity for you guys to discover some amazing ventures of two incredible women who, through their journeys, have an impact on Africa. So, we're going to start. Make sure you're comfortable and ready because we are now starting. Irene, please introduce yourself, and then Mariam will do the same.
Well, that's a big role actually starting the conversation. But yeah, I will give you a little bit more about my background. So I'm born and raised in Spain of Chinese origins. My parents and grandparents immigrated to Spain in the 80s. And then I decided that at the age of 15, I will get outside of my comfort zone and kind of explore different horizons and different parts of the world. So I moved to Canada by myself at age 15. So I literally spent the first half of my life in Spain, second half of my life in Canada. But obviously, I lived and worked with people from over 100 nationalities over the years, and I speak quite a few languages. I'm a polyglot. So it's obviously first language Spanish, English, French, Mandarin, some maternal languages and ancestral languages, as well as learning Lingala, and I learned some German as well in the past. I worked in the corporate world for about 10 years in different fields, international education, human resources, and information technology, IT. But I just really decided that, throughout that journey of 10 years, my passion was really community development. And I was always involved in different causes pertaining to different communities, especially to marginalized and underrepresented kind of groups. And yeah, I decided that, I saw actually that a lot of people were in the same boat as me, not being able to express themselves in the corporate world, right? Like their full intersection of identities. And yeah, really try to create like a platform to allow, kind of these unheard voices to kind of feature their story and to kind of also help, advance different causes, etc. So yeah, I actually founded Boxia Partage, which is basically um, a consultation firm, I would say, or a social enterprise working in the field of diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice. And that was 2019, so it's been about 5 years. And that was when I was working full time. So now I'm like literally collaborating with so many nonprofit organizations and different stakeholders around the world. So that's really cool, and obviously get to meet wonderful people like Mariam, Gael. Nice to, kind of have this chat with you tonight.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing your journey experience with us. Now it's your turn, Mariam.
Thank you, and good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know wherever you are watching us, and happy to be part of this and meet Gael and Irene. So I'm Mariam Torresen from Armenia, and I was born in Armenia right during this um, collapse of Soviet Union and independent Armenian Republic. So I was called a generation that was born in dark and cold years. That's how my childhood was. And by trade, I am a lawyer. So I did human rights law and ended up being an impact entrepreneur. But throughout my journey, I also studied public health and social cultural anthropology, which were my passions. And interestingly, everything intersects, starting from my childhood in serving community and living in a very difficult times, but having the freedom as the main thing in our life, as the main value, and independence, and making sure that we are going back to our roots in the same time, building a new future. And I am a descendant of Armenian genocide survivor. I think it also played a big role in what I'm doing. So all my background, the multidisciplinary background, what I have done in my life and what I studied intersects in one field, which is protecting women's rights and making sure that there is no violence against women, which remains as one of the most pressing social issues of our times, and being passionate about technology and seeing the big potential of technology and innovation to serve public good. I created Save You, which is a mobile application and AI-based platform to tackle violence against women, which is active in several countries now, and we're expanding now to even more countries, about which I will talk during the discussion. So this is my life's mission, to make sure that we replace violence with peace, and there where is this balance between genders, we bring more equality and more opportunities for all of us to thrive, and of course bring more peace to the world, which is much needed in current days. Thank you.
That's awesome. As you can guys see, our two panelists, speakers, have impressive background, and throughout their mission, I'm pretty much sure that it was not easy all the time, and you have to maybe face some obstacle. And first question will be regarding some obstacle that you may have faced during the start or even now throughout your journey. So, what are the main challenges you have faced as a female entrepreneur, and how do you overcome them? Irene?
Okay, sure, I'll start. Yeah, I think there's many different factors, different reasons why we still haven't obviously reached parity, like gender equity. But I think it's an ongoing struggle as well when you add the entrepreneurship kind of aspect of it as well. There's very little representation in no matter like kind of which field you go or which sector you're in. So I would probably mention at least like three challenges over the course of the entrepreneurship journey. The first one is definitely kind of lack of support or a circle of support and mentorship, lack of role models, lack of representation in general. So, how do I go about that, or in general, is that I keep obviously looking for different role models across the world, whether it's in Canada, in France, in African countries. I try to find a role model who shares a similar vision and mission, then kind of spend my time listening to their advice to implement it in my reality. I always believe that role models are great examples, but our paths individually actually look slightly different than theirs. So my advice really is kind of, that we're all different, and we all have different strengths, natural talents, different identities, but it's definitely very important to take that advice and implement that, and to help us kind of get there, because it's very valuable. So at the end of the day, we shouldn't try to replicate other people's path. We should basically create our own path and write our own story. So don't let others write it for you. Role models kind of always remain a source of inspiration and guidance as well. I would say second challenge is lack of access to funding.
Okay.
So obviously, we try to diversify sources of funding or revenue in general income, like government funding and grants. Applying maybe for a business loan as well. That's a possibility, depending on the nature of the business you're in. At the same time, we should always kind of create and develop products and services that will generate revenue. And especially for my reality, is really establishing partnerships and collaborations, like with different entities, whether it's like nonprofits or private sector, etc., to kind of provide services to these partners in exchange for funding. So, for example, my team and I, we create different pedagogical tools in the format of graphic novels, illustrations. We develop also workshops or trainings according to our partners' mission and needs, and in turn, they will kind of share part of the funding they received from different entities with us, so that we can actually fund our operations. And I think I would say the last challenge would be lack of opportunities in general to network and to build strong contacts, like kind of connecting with potential investors, etc. So I really tried to understand the entrepreneurial ecosystem in the city or the country actually I'm operating in. And as we don't have many female entrepreneurs, and in particular social entrepreneurs, because that's another kind of layer that we need to add to that, right? It's not the same thing. So I really tried to make an effort to connect with successful social entrepreneurs who went through similar challenges and who try to learn, um, or I would say I would try to learn from them actually, even if I go, from one city to another. And now, obviously, with remote work, reaching out to people online has become a lot more accessible than ever before. And yeah, it kind of, a lot of people are willing to help and willing to share kind of their experience and knowledge, and like inspire, obviously, more women and girls around the world to not only kind of take an idea, but to, get to where they really want to be and achieve their dreams and goals.
Awesome. Thank you for this intake. Mariam?
Yes. So in most of the things, of course, I can relate to what Iran says and not repeat because I agree with all the obstacles. As me myself, I encountered all these obstacles that she mentioned. I would add a part of, as an impact entrepreneur or social entrepreneur, however we call it, entrepreneurship itself is already a path that is full of obstacles. Being a female entrepreneur, it adds another layer because, of course, there is a lot more, like, I mean, when we talk about lack of resources, lack of everything, and then discrimination on top of it. And when it comes to, for example, my issue that I'm tackling about violence against women, it becomes even more about like core issues of this world that is designed by men for men, where kind of women are oppressed. And there are so many layers of social, economic, financial, political, human rights issues, public health issues that affect women. And being on that side of the battle, let's say, it's of course this road is full of obstacles. It's every day. And on each stage of growth, if there are like future entrepreneurs listening to us, of course, in each stage of growth, your enterprise is going to, and your vision and your mission, you're going to encounter completely different scale of obstacles. And of course, that's what I want to say, that every time you tackle these new obstacles with the new decisions and with the same vision, but completely different tactics and strategies. So I would say overcoming obstacles for me means, first of all, to uh, keep being true to myself, to my own vision and mission, to the vision of the team, and to the mission that we have the full dedication and determination. But in the meantime, being completely flexible on how we are relating to the realities of this world, because every country that we penetrate, every country that we scale up the solution comes with completely different context of religion, political situation, women's issues. Like for example, if you compare Afghanistan to United States on women's issues, there's such a radical, fundamental difference between what is happening, but the issue are still there. So of course, the obstacles, the only way for us to, in our team, to make sure that we are overcoming these obstacles in a way that is beneficial for the people that we're serving for, is to make sure that who we are to make this decision. So it's always about inner development. It's always about being true to ourselves and to our mission, to make sure that the decisions that we make are leading to the great results of our true intentions. And again, depending on the stage of the growth, in the early stages, you have completely different obstacles. When you grow further and you start to scaling your product, your services, then it becomes a completely different and diverse, complex obstacle. So every time that you go with the same spirit, that's what I wanted to communicate with our
That's amazing.
listeners.
On this note, we're going to do like the transition, as you said, depending on where you are in the world. Can you, ladies, give me maybe an example of a transcontinental, sorry, collaboration that you've done, an experience of collaboration that you've done between Africa, Europe, or even Africa and America, and maybe what has been the most fruitful collaboration that you've done so far? Maybe one example each. Mariam?
Yes, sure. Right from the beginning, actually, we started SafeU back in 2020. That's when we started our journey during lockdown, during pandemic period. That's what we launched the project and social enterprise. We said that Africa is our destination. We knew that Africa is diverse. It's one continent, but with a lot of diverse countries, situations, political, etc. But whatever happens, we know that there is a big issue of gender-based violence, of trafficking, and all this requires some, let's say, leapfrogging. It requires to be there with technology and innovation to make sure that it's possible to go to the next level and to tackle this issue on a high level. I have to say that right from the beginning, it was a dream, and we thought we were very optimistic about this. And we found some contacts in Rwanda and Zimbabwe that were like two first countries that we started communicating. We unfortunately had very bad example from Rwanda, because for throughout 1 year we had the constant communication and with government and with social and with civil society organizations. And in the beginning, government was very supportive, the Ministry of Gender and Family Affairs. But somehow, in the end, after 1 year of commitment on our end, free of charge, everything, and we said that we will continue doing this completely free because we want to be there in the market. But unfortunately, the response was very negative. So, of course, I want to talk about good examples, but I also want to show that there are a lot of challenges, and the commitment of our team to bring this solution to some countries, unfortunately, after many months and even a year of work, cannot be that let's say successful. But we have another like successful story with Zimbabwe, where we're launching currently SafeU. Again, it was a long process, but still we can see that it gives it fruits, and the commitment of civil society organizations, of the organizations that want to adopt this technology. And of course, whenever you want to do something, there are always some financial resources that you can leverage. There are always doors that you can open. And thanks to multiple partners and donors that are in the field, we're able to launch this in Zimbabwe. But unfortunately, next to this, we have the example of Rwanda, because sometimes the political will, also the will of the government to support this kind of initiatives, or for civil societies to be more proactive, this is something you have to understand that from country to country it's going to be different. And right now we're in negotiations with several organizations also in Kenya, and we hope, and actually we believe that this is going to be our next country in Africa where we will take our solution to. And in 7 years, of course, we want to be represented everywhere in Africa.
Wow, that's
That's
impressive.
amazing.
Finger crossed for Kenya.
Yes.
I'm pretty much sure it's going to be successful. Maybe then you can give us one example. As I'm seeing the time, I'm trying to.
Yeah, I will try to be brief on this one. So for me, it's mostly knowledge transfer at this time, right? Like empowering women and girls, as well as youth entrepreneurs, collaborating with different organizations, whether it's incubators or nonprofit organizations. It depends on different stakeholders. By offering trainings and delivering presentations around anything that is related to diversity, equity, inclusion, and social justice. So it could be cultural sensitivity, could be identity affirmation, could be equitable and inclusive leadership. Kind of how to pursue your passion, whether it's in entrepreneurship or in a career as well, because entrepreneurship is not for everybody, right? So the topics vary depending on the needs, but really encouraging kind of youth or African youth to discover who they are by exploring their origins and ancestral values, identifying their strengths and predispositions to better contribute to kind of also the development of their local communities, but also to a more just, equitable, and sustainable world in general. Emphasizing the importance of, let's say, kind of understanding their local ecosystem and not developing, or not even developing, more like importing foreign solutions, whether it's European, North American, that are not necessarily compatible. So local problems equal local solutions, right? And the solutions are found in your own culture, essentially.
Awesome transition for
Yeah.
the third question. The third question is about success and strategies. What are the specific strategies do you consider crucial for the success of women entrepreneurship in a globalized business environment? As you said, Irene, that was a good transition. Specific localization needs specific solution, and I'm not sure if there is like one key component of success, but through your experiences, are you able to give us some example, maybe one example of successful strategy that you did implement somewhere in
Yeah.
Africa?
So I would say for women, in general, like we should, not just in women entrepreneurs, but women in general should know, um, kind of their strengths and use that to their advantage, whether it's like basically natural skills that we're basically given, and multitasking skills. We definitely have more attention to detail compared to men, which is just truth. So when we see women stand out in business in any industry now or a sector, a lot of men actually are now realizing or understanding the value of being an ally, right? And give women the chance to have a voice at the table. So they can actually speak out to support women, to raise awareness of the challenges that we face, but not speak for women, right? So we all know that when a woman is successful, she takes care of everybody around her, because that's our nature, our maternal instinct. So it's in our best kind of interest to invest in the necessary resources to help more women succeed in entrepreneurship. And we see that every day. I mean, I work a lot in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and it's a lot of women are so self-sufficient, right? They're finding all sorts of like either skills or natural talents that they identified and try to make a living. Maybe it's not entrepreneurship itself in the sense that they are creating jobs for other folks, but they're self-sufficient and taking care of their own family. They're very, very creative people, except that a lot of the times they don't have access to even maybe $300, which is the minimum investment required to start a little something, so that they could potentially or eventually expand to something more, sustainable, right? So yeah, it's just seeing things like that where lack of resources is not the lack of ideas or lack of talent, that sometimes kind of blocks us a little bit, but I think we're definitely taking a step in the right direction by finding different partnerships, allies, etc.
Brilliant. Mariam? Your microphone is cut.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
For successful strategies, I would say, of course, one of the most important strategies is to create this network of strategic partnerships, of communities, of local grassroots organizations, because we, as developers of technology, of creators of innovation, we have to rely on and contextualize and localize our solutions to the extent that it is beneficial for local communities. So on our end, I have to say that on one hand, we're working with international organizations, UN agencies, and again, like international organizations, diplomatic missions. But on the other hand, we're working with local organizations and giving the solutions to them, making sure that the platform, the dashboard that we created, the AI analytics system that we created, the automation that we created is used by NGOs that have scarcity of funding opportunities, and they use this to make sure that they can provide and reach to more women, to protect them from violence, to prevent violence, to raise awareness. So this is, I would say, on a strategy level on how we developed our technology. That's already very strategic, because the localization is happening through AI, and it is very dynamic in terms of how it can be contextualized to any country, with having multiple languages, being disability friendly, and this context adaptiveness, I would put as the first thing in our technology strategy. And of course, for us, the most important is to create this like-minded international community of action, of support, through which we can advocate not only for protection, but also on advocacy on a legal level, to create the environment, the space, the legal change that can actually create the systemic change, which is, of course, the end goal. We understand that we're on a very long game here with the technology and the change that we want to see for women, where we can create the environment. And as Irene said, there's always lack of opportunities. The thing is that we have a lot of potential when it comes to women. Just need to create opportunities for them so that they can realize this potential. And this is a really long work, because it starts with gender-based violence as one of the main obstacles, why women can't participate in economy, why they can be part of social political life. And I think the core strategy here is, of course, to make sure that all stakeholders are united. We are united in purpose, and we join our efforts for this joint mission.
Amazing. And the question number 4 that I have for you guys, it's in terms of supports. What is the most valuable for novice women entrepreneur? Is it mentorship? Is it professional network or financial resources? Throughout the question, we have been through those aspects of obstacles or lack of resources. But if there was one thing in particular that can help any woman, or even more women, in entrepreneurship, is it one thing that rings the bell for you and you're like, yes, this is like the one thing that you need? And of course, depending on, are you at the start of your journey, are you far ahead, or is it something or one key metrics for you that is essential? Irene?
Yeah, for me, definitely everything starts with knowledge, because it does lead to personal development and growth. And then, like, with that mentorship and coaching, kind of being the most important step, or the first most important step, then you actually need some funds to help test your idea. And then when you want to grow exponentially, then you need a solid network, right? That you can introduce you to potential investors or governments, etc., to leverage their knowledge and experience to help you expand. But it all starts, I think Marian said that, with a self-exploratory journey, of kind of getting to know yourself, identifying your strengths, but also in the field that you want to operate in. You need to have the right knowledge to be able to get into that field, right? And actually make it.
Do you want to add something, Marianne, or have another approach of the question?
Well, I would say that I completely agree, because yes, you need all of it. And again, on a different stages of development, you need different portions of it. When, for example, you have all the knowledge, you're equipped with everything now, then you need some, of course, finances to scale it up. But then again, you need network to expand, to learn more. Because I would actually highlight network as one of the key, because network is a kind of your doorway to, and mentors are there, and finance is there.
Yes.
So creating your network of support, the network of people that share your vision, and the organizations, people, partners on different levels, because entrepreneurship is a multi-dimensional, multidisciplinary fluctuating, always in this, I would say, some controlled, chaotic way, where you have so many components, starting from legal perspective of what you're doing, from the hybrid structures of your, and then perspectives of how you're going to grow, how you're going to pivot, how you are going to make it sustainable and at some point also profitable, and how you are going to then let's say invest it back to serve your mission even better. And on all these stages, again, the doors of opportunities that you're going to open, they're always happening through other people.
Yeah.
You are a door for others and others are doors for you, and that's how I would say it always happens. Because you go to a conference, imagine there are 5,000 people, but you meet one person among this 5,000. That's the way you should go. And usually when I talk to entrepreneurs, this human to human connection, when you're an entrepreneur, that's what the part of your authenticity and integrity. That's why I'm mentioning all the time, staying true to yourself, being who you are, so that you can resonate and as a magnet attract people and opportunities into your life that then will lead to the right direction of your intentions. So that's why probably I would highlight more the network, because it then brings all the opportunities and funding and mentorship comes in the package with it.
Awesome. So now that we know that the knowledge and the network is like the two main focus that people should dive in, what do you think, ladies, the vision, the future vision of female entrepreneurship will be in a couple of years, and particularly between the relationship between women entrepreneur in Europe or America with women entrepreneurship in Africa? Sorry, I'm having like some trouble with my English tonight. What's happening? So do
You're
you
doing
think in the next couple years, like what would be the vision? How do you envision the relationship between those two continents, even three, if you're based in America, like Irene? Irene, go ahead. Share with us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm very optimistic, definitely. You're probably asking me why. But in general, the African continent is waking up, right? Countries like Benin, Togo, Nigeria, women were and are always actually at the heart of commercial exchange. They always played a crucial role in the economic development of their countries, and we're finally starting to recognize actually their value added. And like women are now slowly, obviously, given that space to thrive. So, for example, as you probably know, the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo is trying to reach parity in their cabinet at this time, right? And it's also the first time that the country has appointed a female prime minister. So all of these steps, are contributing to basically a stronger relationship of collaboration in different continents. But also, I would say young women in general are also taking more space, whether it's in journalism, marketing, communications, fashion, any field really, like whether even in STEM, there's a lot more awareness being raised for sciences, mathematics, etc. So it's really, I think it's going in the right direction. I'm not sure if the progress is the one that I would hope for, because I'm someone who is quite impatient to see the right progress, quickly. It's, if you want to accomplish big things, you do need to be patient. You do need to collaborate. You do need to, like we say, it takes a village to raise a child. So it's the same thing. It takes many stakeholders and partners coming together, to kind of, you need to compromise on certain things. You need to advance on certain things to be able to, and to reach that end goal and make the world a better place.
Thank you. Maria?
Yes. So I would say that to reach gender equality, unfortunately, we need some probably 2 more centuries. I mean, there are different calculations how many years we will need for this. And of course, this is important. I mean, the world, as I said, yes, it's designed for men and by men. And for us to take lead, take this decision making power and responsibility for the future of the world, which is also through social entrepreneurship and being more active on all the fields of social life. I would say, I see that thanks to also this to technologies and to the fact that the world is becoming more and more open, even though in the same time we see a lot of like autocracies raising, I mean, a lot of more oppression also against women in different parts of the world, which is very alarming to see this kind of political shift in some countries where we're developing but now going backwards. So we see that this, let's say, this fluctuation is still there. But in the meantime, I see a big commitment on the side of our, let's say, movements and our commitment to make a difference, to be the change makers. And I know great female impact entrepreneurs from Africa that are just like really the leaders of change, making a huge difference not only in their communities, but they're becoming the role models for future generations. Something that Iran mentioned in right from the beginning of this conversation, that probably our generation lacked these role models. But thanks to the role models that we have now for the coming generation, I think this is going to be really a big game changer. And of course, I'm very hopeful, but the hope is a beautiful feeling, but of course acting also towards what we want to see in this world and being together on this, again, like joining our forces for good, and making sure that we're committed to the future where women can thrive, bringing peace to everyone. That's very crucial. And I see a lot of collaboration now between entrepreneurs from Europe to Africa. And I strongly also believe that Africa is the next big thing, looking also to the economic situation and how this is growing. And I can see more and more women participating, not only in economy, but also in politics. So yes, I'm very hopeful, but we need to even accelerate this growth, and we can do it by means of technology and innovation. I'm more than sure that we can just make it a little more accelerated, being patient, but being more innovative on understanding how we can even achieve more through our collaboration and partnership, so that we can make sure that these little girls that are going to born tomorrow are going to enjoy opportunities much faster than what happened for us, for our generation.
That's amazing. If I summarize what we've been saying, it's definitely you guys, and I hopefully the people who are watching us also hopeful and optimistic about the relationship and everything that is happening with the African continent. And we all have our input, but we still at the same time needs to be patient, double down on the action, because faith without action is dead. And Irene, Mariam, and many others are now doing the work, and they are already some sort of role model, even if they've been really like humble and they didn't say it, but for their work, very impressive work. They are literally moving the states of what's happening in this world, and particularly how we can impact Africa. And I was very privileged to have this conversation with you guys, because you are, if I may, really, you are too badass doing the job, and I love it. I love it. I'm a big fan of your work, and through this conversation, I hope the
I'll
people,
say Matondo, like your last name.
for those of you who might not be
Yeah.
aware of Matondo means thank you or grateful. So I am grateful definitely tonight. And maybe you can rapidly give some information if people wants to follow your work, maybe your social media, or where, where they can find some contact, or maybe just visibility to see what you guys are doing. And if they want to connect or help, or maybe, we never know who's watching. You might have someone who wants to invest, who want to give some grants. I'm just raising the hand. We never know. And if someone wants to connect with your organization, or they want to keep up with your work, where do they find you?
I think the best place to find me is LinkedIn. I've been on that platform actually for 10 years and I'm always on it. Yeah, I'm very, very connected. Obviously, you can find me on other social media as well. I recently created an Instagram as well, but you can just use the same handle. It's Miss Boxia, MISSBOXIA, for both. And if you search my full name, you basically will find me there.
Awesome. Thank you. I am.
Great. So you can find me again on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. Mariam Torosian, that's what you have to search for. And my company name is Safe You, YOU. And if you are from Africa and interested on how the technology that we developed that already saved lives in the countries where we are operating right now, in Armenia, Georgia, Iraq, and very soon this month we are also launching Safe in Romania for the Ukrainian refugees, and also in other Eastern European countries. In June, going to launch in United States. So it's getting bigger and bigger. But of course, we want to be there where the technology can even close bigger gaps than unfortunately we see in African countries. So just reach out to me. It's a very fast process. We'll just bring this life-saving technology to your country, to your city, to your community, to make sure that women are safe there. And if you are an investor, as Gail said, there are investors, foundations. Don't let your money sleep. Let them work for
That's
the
it.
benefit. Yes, just invest not in save you, it can be, but just find those passionate, determined teams and
Right.
people, women who want to change this world for all of us. They just want to care for all of us, love us, to bring more peace and love to this world. Just find them, invest, donate, so that the future generations, so that this planet can have a better future.
Mhm.
Awesome. I couldn't say more, because that's definitely it. Invest in women. It's scientifically proved that when women are in charge, or at least have some position of power, business are doing much better, country are more safer,
Yeah.
and through your respective organization, definitely, if you have the money, do not sleep. Use your money wisely. That's what I would say. So thank you very much, Irene and Mariam, for this conversation. I hope our viewer were inspired, got the chance to discover your ventures and everything that you do to make sure that this world is a better place, or at least women are safe. If women are safe, children are safe, men are safe. And thank you very much again. Thank you to Nam Africa Ino for this conversation. Um, as it was said earlier, do not hesitate to get in touch with Mariam and Irene if you want to support, help, or simply get in touch with them. And I wish you guys a pleasant evening, a pleasant afternoon for some of us, depending on where we are, and look forward to speaking with you, ladies, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes, thank you, Gail. Thank you, Ren, and to everyone else who organized this great meeting. Thanks.
And I was about to forget, but I also need to thank Alain Kayembe, which is the founder of Mama Africa Innov. Mama Africa Innov is a foundation who aims to highlight the talent of people who have an impact on the African continent. As we said during this conversation, many forgot that Africa is actually a continent, not a big country.
Mhm.
And a lot of people, millions of people around the world, are trying to put their input to make sure that this continent gets to have the respect and brightness that it deserves. And that's the mission of Mama Africa Innov. If you want to become a volunteer or you want to help, you have all the information going below, and you can contact Mama Africa Innov, and they will be more than happy to give you more information on how to become a member and volunteer. Thank you so much, and everyone have a nice evening. Good evening to everyone. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Gail. And thank you to Mama Africa.
All right. Thank you.